welcome to episode 4 of our KNX Top Tip series. In today's video, I would like to talk to you about operating modes. So let's jump into ETS and have a look. So what we're going to do for today's video is just a really simple example of how to use operating modes to get the most out of the sensor, depending on the room that the sensor is installed in. So for this example, we're going to reduce just to a single function, switching some spotlights. And we're just going to leave all the parameters here the same, because what we're going to focus on is not necessarily these individual parameters, but we're going to focus on the operating mode. So let's go into the advanced behavior section. So the one we're going to focus on is at the top here. So by default, the mode is presence. So auto on and auto off. So simply put, when you walk into the room, the light's going to turn on. And then when you walk out of the room, the timeout is going to start decreasing or time counting down. And then when it elapses and reaches 0, it will turn the lights off. Nice and simple. Now this is what you'd want in a corridor or anywhere basically where you're transiting through that space and you want the lights to automatically come on and then turn back off again. But there are examples where you want it to behave a little bit differently. So the first one we're going to look at is absence. So in absence operating mode, the light will not be turned automatically on. You have to turn the light on using a keypad on the wall. But then if you leave the light on, so for a good example of this is a kid's bedroom, if they go in, they turn the lights on, but then they've been in that room for a little while and then they walk off and they just forget to turn the light off, what you can do is configure a motion sensor to automatically turn the light off. So that's what absence mode is used for. So making sure that lights don't get left on for long periods of time. You could even do this in your living room, for example. So in my living room, there's a motion sensor. It has a timeout actually of 2 hours. So if I'm sitting really, really still, or even sitting outside of the range of the motion sensor, after 2 hours of no movement, it's going to turn the lights out. But within reason, within 2 hours, you're probably going to get up and go to the loo and you're going to walk through where the motion sensor detection area is. So even in the living room, example, you can use absence mode really effectively. Okay, the other option is presence, no timeout. So in this instance, you want to turn the lights on automatically, but you'll need to use a keypad to turn them off. This might be relevant in maybe a hospital or something like that, where you might have an emergency theatre room, where when you walk into that room, you need the lights to turn on straight away because it's an emergency, that room's suddenly becoming use. But you don't ever want the lights to be turned automatically off because that could be critical to what you're doing in that room because it's a theatre. So in this instance, you'd have to turn them off manually using a keypad on the wall. So there's not many instances where you want to use this mode, but there are a couple of use case scenarios where it's useful. The other example is push button only. So in this example, there is no automatic turning on and off of the light at all. And you might be wondering, well, why do I need the motion sensor if the light isn't being turned automatically on and off? And the answer is constant light control. So our sensor has a constant light controller built into it. So it has a brightness sensor, which can be used to measure the brightness of the room, and then a dimming output that can be used to control the light levels. So let's imagine you had an office where you wanted the lights to be constantly controlled at, let's say, 400 lux. But you didn't want the lights to be turned on and off automatically. Instead, you just wanted a single button to turn the lights on and off. That's when you'd put the sensor into push button only mode. So really, the only use case for push button only mode is for the constant light control. So there you have it. We've gone through our 4 operating modes for our KNX motion sensor and the applications of which it can be used. Thank you very much.